One last map on the day. It's going to be Fnatic versus LDLC. It's going to be on the Inferno, a map that's not been kind since it came back into the pool for Fnatic. They did lose to Gambit Big, and they also had their dreams crushed at Katowice by Astralis. Joining me are two show-offs, massive show-offs. We have someone wearing a mop and someone who looks like he does his own poetry and posts it on MySpace.
You jealous? I used to do my own poetry and post it on MySpace.
Did you? I know, he really did.
Oh.
I've seen it.
It's good. Some of it was really good.
It's atrocious.
It's fantastic. All right?
Do a flip. Do it like a hair flip. I don't even know.
Are you just jealous because you can't partake in this right now?
Yeah, I'm massively jealous of this.
Look how beautiful. I didn't put any product in. I washed it.
It's just greasy and disgusting.
Shimmering.
Well, our hair is about as much of a train wreck as Inferno at the moment because it's a bit of a all over the place map. You know, we haven't really seen much structure come into play. I've seen some interesting strategies. SK did like a really cool A wall of smokes where they kind of smoked across the front of the site so you could have all of Diggity and Pit control. That was interesting. You know, there's been some B executes that I've seen. Some teams have been working out Molotovs to get all the bomb site locked down.
How long does it seem to take teams to really start to figure out new maps? Like how long, like Nuke, you know, when it came in, Overpass, Cobble, when these maps come in, how long? 3 months, 4 months?
The Inferno is going to be accelerated over those other maps because those other maps people want to be hesitant of because it's like, well, they're new, we don't like new. Whereas Inferno, it's basically the old map, just a much better version in terms of cleaner. You know, it's easier to approach the map, I think, than having the Cobble, the Overpass, the Nuke, which all kind of had new, very different ways of approaching them.
Yeah, Nuke was entirely different. A whole new catwalk, like parts of the map that didn't exist before. Whereas the essence of Inferno
and it's just Nuke. Everyone's scared of that to a degree.
Exactly. Yeah, I 100% agree. But Inferno, it's kept the essence. There's two major changes, and both of them are around B. One of them seems insignificant at first, but I'll hit on that second. The first one is obviously Banana. That's very different. No pillars. The wall is very spammable. Even if you smoke it, you can't hide under the pillars, so that wall becomes boostable both directions. We're seeing some dynamics in that. I think Banana control has become more of a fight than it used to be, especially without the smoke that lands at the bottom of Banana from the A-side player. There's less utility. You've got to commit a little bit more. And we're seeing already, in fact, and I can't remember which map it was at Katowice, which two teams were playing at the time. It wasn't the Fnatic Astralis game, but it was another.
I feel like you have a very good point to make here.
Well, a lot of teams are putting more time into alt-middle boilers right off. And Astralis was in the second game. I can't remember. I think it was Heroic that they were playing. But they're putting more time onto A at the start of the round, whereas it used to be all about Banana early. The second change, and it seems last, is also around Banana, but it's the lack of the wicket gate behind in the back of the B site that lands at New Box, because a couple teams were starting to utilize that, and SK was very good at it with the triple Molotov strat of getting a Molotov on New Box and then Oranges 1 and Oranges 2. They can still skybox Orange 1 and Orange 2, but you can't get the Molotov as cleanly into New Box. So there's actually a bit of an advantage to the CTs there.
Does this new map at all, as we have a little bit of time, does this new map actually help kind of bring LDLC closer together to being able to beat Fnatic? Does it help them in any way, I guess is the best way to put it?
Well, historically speaking, yes. They just lost to Astralis on this map in overtime. The score was 25-23. And I think, you know, this is kind of where things get evened out because everyone's on the same, I guess, playing field, right? Yeah. Everyone's catching up in the same way. And LDLC can kind of geek it up a bit harder, right? They don't have these other tournaments they're worried about. They can practice Inferno as much as they need.
And they have Existence.
Yeah, who has come up with some awesome executes on the old version of Inferno. So we didn't really see a lot of that when we watched them play against Astralis in the Pro League. Hopefully we might see more of that tonight come out against Fnatic because I think if you have good executes, the Fnatic guys might not know how to react straight away.
Yeah, and I mean, the big thing they're going to have to worry about, too, is, I mean, we saw this actually even just at Katowice with Alu, how aggressive he was towards alt-mid, how aggressive he was down mid. You put JW in that situation. On the old Inferno, that was his bread and butter. That was his playstyle. So, I mean, what can they do exactly to counter that kind of play? How do you stop an AWPer from being that confident and that aggressive with it?
You just use the defensive mid smoke, right? You just from T-spawn, you throw it over the roof. That's how we used to do it, and the same you could do on top of Banana as well. And that way, even if they're playing behind it, they still can't pick you. So that way you can take that territory early, and then when the smoke clears, you're more ready for them to come out and pick. And just to build on Matt's point, I really like the fact they're going alt middle first, taking boiler and halls control, because you can't take as much damage there, or at least the CTs don't seem to be as aggressive there with their utility. And then that way you just circle back once you've got that. You've already pushed them off of those areas. You've made sure that's clear. You then go take banana control, and you can set up for an execute at either site. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what LDLC is going to have, what Existence has. I think a lot of people are excited to see what he can bring out strategically on this map. And to take you through it is Pansy and Uber.
Fnatic for my prediction.
Thank you very much. If you want to hear more from Matt, if you find his MySpace, you'll notice he likes to wear V-neck Henley shirts and look like Ashton Kutcher with his hair, but not quite as good looking.
I'd put them both in my top 8. Don't you worry, Mitch.
Oh,
look,
God.
Look,
I think there was one was like, he had like an Xbox controller that wasn't connected. It wasn't even a wireless one. It was like waving it around.
Look,
it was great.
MySpace was a confusing time. If you ever look at the subreddit Blunder years, that summarizes me pretty well.
Shall we?
I actually kind of like cast all those pictures of me from the time off the internet. It's very hard to find any of them. But Matt embraced it, and I like that, you know?
They're still there.
Like,
yeah.
I still essentially wear the same clothes, just, you know, a couple of sizes up. But what can you do?
For better or for worse. That is it.
All
Well,
right.
Matt's, you know, he's seen better days.
Who hasn't had the edgy emo phase?
No, I had that too.
Like, I dyed my hair black and white.
I was red. I had
You
red
went
hair.
red?
Dark red. Like, I don't know, something I'm like, yeah. No, not quite ginger. Luckily, I could get away with it. Looked like someone out of My Chemical Romance, to be fair, which is probably the point.
One of the guitarists from My Chemical Romance actually follows me on Twitter these days. I'm wearing his t-shirt.
Why not
today.
on
There you
MySpace,
go.
Lauren?
Because I was about 12. That would have been a bit weird, I think.
I'm going to let that one go through to the keeper, as we say
All
in
right.
Australia.
So what we're going to say about this, though, is Fnatic, I want to keep my eyes on you. How are you going to play this one out? And LDLC, can you make them respect you enough that they don't just run all over you?
The last time we saw Fnatic on this particular map, they took Astralis quite close. It was actually at Katowice, where I think 5 out of 8 of the rounds they won on the T side, they had detonations. So either their strategic push towards a side and the plant was good, or they were using good ways of stalling time.
So initially I want to see as well as where Crims is playing too. This is going to be the interesting factor, but Olofmeister is just going to go straight up aggressive. They are not, they're playing to their skill level right now, Fnatic. They are not respecting LDLC to be a threat. It's not about individual respect, it's about the fact that LDLC cannot challenge them right now. And you're down to 3 players here.
And when you let Fnatic get into this mindset as well, which we have seen numerous times before, it is very hard to get back into the game. You need to demand this respect. And Maniac's trying to do it. Stand and deliver now. Made his way through apartments, but Dennis waiting back by Graveyard. 2 players now for him to choose from, damaging both, but Maniac finds him.
This is brilliant. And there you go. Shut down time. Well played to Existence and Maniac to stay in that round, because it's easy to feel, head starts to hang down as soon as you lose those 2 players. You lose control of B completely and Banana. But they found the instant response, and they played it so nicely. So well done to them to not let that get too much. And we're seeing the UMPs, boys. UMPs are coming out to play. It's like Call of Duty all over again, run and gun, and it's just, oof. It doesn't sit well with me in this game. It doesn't feel right in CSGO, but it does feel right to this map because you get that, all the mollies, you can molly off the top of Banana or nade it up if you fancy. Depends how you want to approach it. So far, Fnatic have, brought up what they can. They've got the upgraded pistols. Only 1 nade so far into Flush. We've got a couple of pieces already being put down. But it does get a little bit tricky because you've still got players like Crims playing towards B, right? Which is something we want to keep our eyes on if he does this consistently throughout this game. Generally, they do like a double AWP on here. We saw that during the previous games. They love running that one out, and that'll mean they switch on positions quite nicely. But there's that utility, forcing them out or isolating them. So now Olofmeister is stuck. He can't back away, and Crims couldn't really help him.
With so many mollies board here, Fnatic are going to have to tap dance the way out of some sticky situations if they want to play close. Crims, though, give him some respect and some distance. Couple shots rattle off from the 5-7, and he backs away. Finally, though, delivers very quickly, and we all love a bit of UMP action. Well, love it or hate it, it's here to stay, at least for the moment. Maniac finds JW. Smoke will obscure Flush's view of the site, but a nade just lobbed over will leave its mark. A solid amount of damage, but it's going to take more than that. He needs Dennis to come to his aid.
And Dennis is the pistol master, and that's 2, but 2 is not enough to make too much damage to this round. They've done quite nicely here. They can back on the UMPs if they want to, or upgrade to the rifles, or maybe just even further SMGs to build up more bank, which is a nice addition for them, because they know that Fnatic's economy is pretty broken. They might be able to get like a nade, AP 250, but you don't want to be buying much down below this.
And anyone tuning in sort of who maybe doesn't watch a ton of CS or watch it all the time should probably know that at the moment Inferno, like Chad said on the desk, a bit of a mess in terms of the way that teams are sort of approaching it, can give some erroneous results. That being said, LDLC did go to like 3 or 4 tiebreakers against Astralis in the Pro League actually on this particular map. So they at least showed themselves to be capable at that stage.
Yeah.
JW was hoping for a bit of a butcher. But no, it'll be LDLC. At least on Maniac to find him now. And Fnatic just sitting back over towards A, Crims at B on his own.
But I like that. They forced Olofmeister to pull himself over, because you want to just try and stack anywhere with these sort of pistols. Try and find like 1 player ideally, or just anything at this point. These rounds aren't going to go your way, or they shouldn't go your way. It's especially on this buy, it's so low. But the bombs are pretty far back. Existence and Mistu just working over towards B. They could wrap around CT, I guess, at this point, but you know, it's all like feeling out the opponent. Where's that stack? Try and find it as much as possible. LDLC have cleaned out B. Twanu's going to come back, pick up the bomb. It's scored it all the way through. Now you've got Existence pushed up as well. He can be the player to stop anyone pushing back in. And well, there you go. This round should be wrapped up. I don't know if Dennis can find much. Otherwise, did a good bit of work. And actually, why not help him? Existence is going to behead Mistu there. And at least that means the gun's free. But they're going to be upgrading anyway after this round, I can imagine.
You'd think so, with Fnatic looking to get decent weapons in their hands pretty shortly. It was actually Mistu boosting over a smoke over a B to take down Crims. Didn't take much, obviously, for him to sort of own the site. It was 2 LDLC players on it, and Dennis knows he's going to have to meet his maker eventually. It's young money, cash money for Alex, though. Obviously, the Mac 10 going to be yielding a little bit of the aforementioned for him, but still, Fnatic, yeah, like we said earlier on, they're going to buy in. You see kits coming through. Just one, actually, for Flusher at this stage. But again, only one UMP to be seen.
Look at the purchase still from LDLC. What are they going to be up to here? They're sticking on Mac 10s, UMPs, going for that quote-unquote bonus round, Jaden round if you're Matt. It hasn't really stuck with anyone else, but I like it.
We're still saying it, though.
Yeah. I'm hoping for maybe like a nice piece through apps, maybe, try and leap out. You can use these guns, you can jump with them, or maybe a fast wrap towards CT Arch, something. Let's see what they got. And yeah, it's going to be a quick piece towards CT Arch, but the problem is Flusher's there, and the infamous Flusher flip might come back to haunt us. Look at this guy. He's so on point at the moment. That UMP in his hands is as deadly as any other weapon you could pick. And now Maniac and Mistu are left reeling off the back of that.
Yeah, again, the cheapest weapon on his side has already made mincemeat of LDLC, and this will stop them in their tracks. No fast play. Trying to go for that bonus round, but Olofmeister was waiting for the push out of that underpass. And Maniac. Bombs in mid. Olofmeister's going to hatch that one up. And there's a very, very little
Don't go back
the
through.
Swiss can do here. And he'll give his way his position as well there, because obviously smoke down. Deck the holes. Hopefully not with Maniac's innards at this stage. He's going to back away.
Maybe you can get a decent rifle. Maybe you can make it costly, because they know the money's pretty low here. For Fnatic, where it has been, it's been on that kind of teetering edge where it's kind of hard to build up the money, but look at that position. Oh, nice. Relentless in hunting this down, just, taking his time. He found the first player trying to go through that underpass area and then readjusted towards T-Apps. So nice. But yeah, if they've taken away a couple more guns, you can see the Fnatic money was not perfect at that point. They're down to 1K now. They're fine now. They get that full buy. No AWPs, though. But on the other side, right back into this Tech 9s aplenty. And you got 3 rifles still as well. So they're able to buy. And there you go. Twanu's got the AWP. And there, we've got the AK. We've got the full buy out from LDLC. So good for them to be able to get on this. And we've got to see what Twanu can achieve here. Because T-sided AWPing, it's not going to be easy. And oh, that nade! Such a hindrance to begin with. But luckily for him, he didn't receive any more than that.
I mean, it's about as much as you could take with armor on. I think the grenade hit him squarely in the chest and bounced back before detonating. So Olofmeister now as well wants to challenge again. No respect. Molotov finds its mark down. Fnatic are going to have to make themselves scarce for the moment here. This is going to bring Flusher across towards B, or at least consider it in the interim.
And the good thing about this for LDLC is, in the long run, if Alex and Maniac start playing out of maybe Boiler, try and pressure towards CT Arch, that's going to really pinch in the 3 players at B, but it depends if they actually go for this. LDLC haven't put down their mollies yet. They've still got their smokes to play with, so we don't see their full intention. There's one, and here comes the molly to follow. I can imagine just going to bounce off towards the cubby, flash out towards quad or diggity, and Dennis has pushed forward. Now, Alex will not expect this. Dennis is now going to try and push his way around. He's getting the drop on Alex there, and Dennis is going to quickly adjust, fall back, try and get himself towards site, trying to make sure he's not going to be traded off. So he can now hold a more passive angle. Mistu's being left over at B, so the banana side can't be pushed, but now LDLC are going to try and hit the A side, and there's 3 players here instantly.
Mistu the only one over at B at this stage of the 4 left for LDLC, and he'll be just taking 5 for a bit. So technically it's the 3v3 over at the A site for the moment. Maniac's going to back over in towards apartments. Flusher as well is getting himself in position just in case there's a wrap, which might be the case with JW falling. Existence now is trying to keep Fnatic at bay, not let them sneak through.
Dennis is still the ace up the sleeve, right? He can be a real nuisance on that site, and even more of a nuisance is Flusher hitting shots like this, just buying time and costing them players in there. Dennis just gets swept out of the way anyway, so maybe I overrode that position, because here we go. 2 players on the side. Mistu watching the play up through mid, so he can just stop Olofmeister from being able to push this. Knowing Olofmeister, he can still bang out a shot like this, but not with a drop like that towards the hands of Mistu. Now, Crims, you've got to be considering saving at this point and just getting out of there. You've got a 1v3, and he does have a kit, but no other play to this. He might know the one's low, but not how low they are. And Crims trying to isolate Mistu out, try and get that gun away, maybe make it a little bit more costly. Can't do it. Mistu adjusted the angle, holding something a little different. And he will get the AWP as well for Mistu. So nice. That can come over back for Twanu, excuse me. But yeah, here we go. This is actually, means game on. LDLC for 1, they're able to suffer through a couple of rounds, or a round, should I say, where Fnatic turned it on its head, but they came back and they brought a good bit of fight with it. Now, LDLC, they've shown that they like this map. They're one of those teams you have the time to theory craft on it. We haven't seen too many teams yet really fully be able to go back home, not being at events or playing online leagues, be able to put the hours into kind of the theory craft approach like Existence is known for. So I'm hoping we see a couple of set pieces that aren't just straight out of the traditional playbook of what we've seen so far. We said, I think on the desk, someone highlighted this, Chad brought up the SK play where they do slightly a bit of a variation on the smokes. But I want to see more than just, let's smoke out Library and Arch and then just hit. I want to see a little more from them. I want to see something interesting. For now, they should just be trying to keep this round as clean as possible. Do not give away any guns. Keep that money building up so they can get all those mollies and all those nades, trying to exert that early presence on the map. We know what happens. A couple of teams certainly do like that pressure play towards Banana. We saw actually Virtus Pro being one of the players to do it, or Neo for them to be really, really present here and playing on this sort of edge. It worked out well for them to a point, but now Tuanu going to find Dennis and a good start for LDLC.
And the reality is that Crims, after an excellent first map, he and JW have still yet to find their frag. It's been a very uncomfortable and rather impoverished CT side for Fnatic thus far. LDLC have made decent progress. They've moved up in second mid and they are close to pushing on towards A, but Fnatic have stacked this side out after 2 men peeking at B. They've backed away completely. So decent read from them. But there's 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the round. If LDLC want to swing out, they can. Existence is slowly backing down mid towards his own spawn. So LDLC have many options open here, and a push towards B at this stage, despite LDLC checking it and still assuming Fnatic players are present, should be comfortable taking.
Yeah, it's about how do Fnatic respond. Are they going to fly straight down mid, or are they going to try and go through CT Arch? What's the play for them? They're trying to work it out here because here we go. Smoke goes in, just the close smoke. Don't need to set it up. Nice and quick. Yeah, it's go time for them. Olafmeister going to try and get around towards CT as fast as possible, but he's going to be beaten to that. I'm pretty sure Alex is already, he's already in towards Ruin, so going to be tough. Unless the shot comes through smoke, JW's going all the way around towards one. They're trying to get guns away and make it, pretty costly for LDLC. It's going to be kind of tricky for them to make it stick, though, because LDLC are in really nice positions already. Maniac's a little isolated, but we'll see if JW gets the better of him in a couple of seconds.
And yeah, and a gun. A gun and an exit would be pretty good for him. Crims up on high, not much he can do there, and Maniac managed to see JW coming in. Fnatic were in a position, the way they stacked up on that A site, that they prevented themselves from getting information about where LDLC was going. It was only until JW got into apartments to check second mid and mid that they realized the bomb was headed to B.
And things I want to see from Fnatic, especially players, specifically as JW, for example, not this round, but in the future, once he gets an AWP, I want to see if he still goes for that second mid, peek out of apps, if there's any changes to how he likes to play this map, if he has adjusted, how he approaches it mentally, if he's still that confident. It looks like he's pretty confident now. He's going to get up and close.
We've seen this so many times before.
Yeah, it works so well. Maniac's got to be careful. If you're going to be slow walking into this, you've got to be pure not doing that. All right, that's one way to feed apps control over towards the CT side. That's going to cut you limb from limb throughout this map. You have no control now, really, apart from on Banana, which they're going to have to work with, but there's still a play here. That's Olafmeister, and he doesn't need to be asked twice. 2 big kills, Molly down. There's no progress to be found here. Tuanu is going to go above and beyond, as I like to say, if he even wants a chance.
Always hoping for some peak as, Olafmeister rotates off of B. The bomb's in mid. So Tuanu would have to even go there before he even really thinks about winning the round via, more conventional means at this stage. Being in a 1v4 is not comfortable. Flusher caught out in the open for a moment there. He knows Olafmeister is still afoot. He saw the kill feed. He knows where that came from.
Oh, God.
But he can't get to the bomb.
Tuanu, let's see. He's got full utility, right? So if he can carve one more kill out of this, it's game on. But you've got Olafmeister playing really close contact. Okay, he's going to deny the CT peek, allowing him to look towards coils or coffins now. High flash towards CT, again going to allow him further out. And he's actually checking for that angle, but not quite deep enough. And now considers, when's that flank coming in? Okay, JW's there, but now time is running out. And you can see the adjustment of positions, and now there's a player in CT after it being kind of cleared out earlier almost by what he was putting down. But the problem is Tuanu's run out of time here. 20 seconds, and the pushes start to begin. They try and tighten that noose. Molly goes down, denies one angle, and now he's got to be careful of JW and the Molly and about everything else going on right now. And the man to suffer through it all, Olafmeister.
On a side note, is Tuanu still in your fantasy team, Lauren?
No, he's out of it.
So you were you had the faith. You were raving about the talent this man had. But
he was a cheeky pickup, right? It's get the 4 big players and then do a little cheeky pickup of someone who'll be pretty cheap on fantasy, and it's Tuanu, because he's a flashy AWP. He was fine in the first couple of games. He had not an easy opponent, but an easier opponent. I wouldn't put him, 1-to-1 yet with either JW or Olafmeister at this point, but you know, he's got potential and his eyes towards him in the future. We'll see how that kind of comes through for him in, down the line. His first real kind of throw into playing against real tier 1 teams on a regular basis, so certainly a big learning curve. But speaking of that, we've got a bit of a difference here from LDLC. Maybe picking up on the tendencies that Fnatic like to play with, and maybe this time trying to overwhelm with numbers towards Apps. They've got very close here. This could be quite an explosive hit, quite possibly. Maybe pinching towards Pit and towards Quad. So JW and Dennis better be ready, because here comes the wave of T players.
Yeah, they're only going from one angle right now. That's the problem. LDLC couldn't push up mid, so it's just this one arm, and it has to work. So far, not so bad. It's traded 1-for-1, and Twanu comes in, the Tech 9 to secure the kill. And Flusher needs to rescue, but he's flashed as soon as he gets around the corner.
But the bomb's still in Pit for LDLC. They've just about made it out. Good timing on the smoke and the flash to deny the CTs to come back in. Now bomb goes down. You've got one man on side. Misty watching the back. No one's there. The 3 players going to be coming from at least CT outside for now. Misty's going to pull himself up a little closer, try and be more relevant to this round. But time is ticking, and you've got to cut your losses sometimes. Olofmeister's actually backing away from this, as is Crims and as is Flusher.
Just no point going for it at this stage. Despite it being a 3v4 situation, Fnatic were so poor on time by the time the smoke started to dissipate that the risk was far too great for them there. I like that little double play in towards apartments there. Maybe not necessary to counter a wild JW hiding with something weird like a Mag 7, but it worked out well.
For me, I actually really like the way that basically Maniac kind of took all the attention, right? Just swung out straight in there, almost just accepting the fact that he probably will die if someone's just facing that angle, and the other two would then just quickly come in and trade off it, try and open up Pit as fast as possible and kind of like dissemble the CT side that was waiting on that. So that was quite nice from them. I like the approach, but the problem is now Fnatic is starting to, run a little low on funding. You can see the spread of wealth going to be put out there, and, Flush is going to be sat on a UMP. Not exactly a hindrance to that, man. He seems to be able to pull through on that no matter what, but LDLC have a nice lead so far. Generally, I'd say Fnatic can be most deadly on those T sides. I wouldn't write them out, even if they go in with a massive disadvantage. They can always pull back a good couple of rounds here and there. Nice flashes, trying to exude the early kind of control towards Banana that can be seen. We have a boost coming out for Olofmeister as well. It should be checked on these days. Nothing new, nothing surprising. This is a pretty regular piece, but it's hard to dedicate yourself to that angle, right? You've got to be careful of the whole site. But we'll see if that comes through now.
I'd rather just not have to trade 1-for-1 at a player at Sandbags at the top of Banana. It's a bit annoying before you've even managed to actually enter that B site. So a lot of respect given to that position, especially nowadays. It's changed a little bit, maybe a little bit, well, less safe for the player behind it. That's purely anecdotal in terms of what we've seen by teams testing it. Misty will just be a pivot at this stage of B. The rest of the action will be at A. It's now a smoke towards mid, but now one out towards Diggity.
But look at this position. They're so far pushed up. Oh, just about gets there in time now. I don't know if Alex heard that. I think he was kind of looking towards it, but still, he gets completely outdone. And Maniac's got to make some noise here. Yeah, the smoke's already gone in. He's kind of like showing a little here. Might just try and find something through that smoke. Yeah. So they're going to buy into this a fair bit. They're keeping 3 players here. Now you can see the quick play coming out. Twanu getting over towards Banana, but no one's rotated from B. They haven't caused enough of a threat for them to actually move off this. So Crims is playing by new box, not so new anymore, and it's a really nice crossfire set. He takes the kind of contact instantly, and now Olofmeister should be able to come into play, and he does. There it is. Bomb goes down. Twanu not expecting it, and there you go, back in. Crims, the next piece to come back into the play, and this is so nicely done. Those 2 players, a bit veteran on holding down that sort of thing, and Crims made his name on that side, and you can see as to why he can be so good at it.
I mean, not just him. If you ask, a lot of experts on their sort of quintessential partnership in a certain part of any map, it's Crims and Olofmeister on B on Inferno, and you can just see how comfortable they are. Nobody rotates as well. They're trusting the rest of Fnatic over at A, and that was well placed as they quite easily deflected what LDLC tried to throw towards them there. So LDLC, another round where they try and go for something aggressive for Abs, doesn't pay off, and now it's back to the drawing board. The upside is they've still got a little bit to work with in terms of weaponry here, even if it's not ideal.
No, not ideal at all. No nades, and only one molly is the problem. It's hard to kind of clear these angles, and Crims, you can see him pushing up for this as well. Maybe knowing there's not going to be an AWP in play, probably, so just going to play off the timing, play for the actual kills on this. Now, the one molly could be put down to this position, but he's playing it a little bit deeper as well. You can fall back further these days. And now here's nothing, but he will see it coming. Misty's very up close, but the crossfire again, so well played. Olofmeister taking the kills as the attention was drawn, and now you can see the pressure on the other map starting to build. Alex has managed to find his way out, but the rest of his team are stuck, and so's the bomb.
Smoke in the way Existence wants to go for it. You may not know just how close Crims is encroached to this wall. A boost hopefully gives some information, but only Olofmeister was spotted. Existence forced to just be satisfied with a bit of a spray down. Another peek over. Molotov immediately extinguished through that smoke, and it is re-smoked immediately. So, a little bit of a kill eked out of that situation. Now the 3v3 for LDLC, but their progress has still been halted by more smokes being thrown towards this gap.
But if you're LDLC as well, do you still think Crims is there? You know, you're sat there going, sure.
Well, you pick up other smokes, you might have seen him back away.
God, here we go. Nicely done by Maniac. Good timing on him to actually turn around. Alex was meant to be watching the back in theory. The bomb's still not being collected. 30 seconds left. You need to get this bomb. And the deadly duo, the infamous pair, are not going to be leaving this. Crims is still going to be here. He swings out a little wide, but he can't get the fight. And Olofmeister, a great connection on towards 2, but Existence holds strong, finding 3 kills in the end, and didn't even need the bomb.
It's not all that often that you see rounds resolved in that part of Inferno where the T side actually wins. Normally, if it is, it's going to be them all being mowed down. But there's a lot of utility available for LDLC there to sit on and save late into the round. Also, the Molotov thrown in that 3v2 situation just to make sure there wouldn't be a 2v1 of the peaking T player. But 7-3, this is good stuff for LDLC. They get back in the economy, 5 AKs.
The thing is with Fnatic as well, this is one of the maps you saw them becoming so good at these rounds on, because you had the CZs, you had the Mag 7s. JW found such purpose for it, especially with the tools. This time Maniac's learned, and instantly Dennis not going to get the time of it. Maniac has adjusted individually so well, kind of reading the Fnatic light to get the pressure going towards apps in these rounds to try and make up for the deficit of weapons. And just really a good mental game from Maniac, considering he was playing against these guys in their prime on some of the better teams.
I mean, whether by necessity or by choice, Maniac is back, and he's playing quite well in this map. He's 12-3, just for those at home. So it's been pretty comfortable for him on this T side, especially where he's often the entry player or the spearhead.
But this is an issue. Look at these positions still with Fnatic. Crims and Flusher in good spots to be all, make them uncomfortable. Maniac's depending on smoke being on his side, and Crims will show him how it's done. Going to get the AK. Instantly looks for the angle, and Flusher is more of a problem as he's been just kind of prowling the halls of apps, not letting them get any control back towards it. So even though there's a great bit of play, these are the rounds they turn around, and Flusher's still there. Brave, but maybe a little too brave, but both the Fnatic standing in the smoke, the spray!
Good challenge.
Oh, if the spray transferred right for Mister in the end, it would have worked, but Olofmeister making up for that round before. And again, Fnatic had a reputation on this map, and you see as to why.
And we didn't get to see that from Olofmeister's perspective there as well. But that, with the spray transfer, just very, very sharp switch between the two players. That was rough as guts, 2v2. Fnatic knew if they pull back towards the A side, they had to play a retake on B, rotating both ideally from CT. Because you can't just put one of those two players down banana and hope that someone on LDLC isn't looking back. So that's a big way to take the bull by the horns in that round and win it decisively.
Timeout called. Would it be LDLC? I can imagine it is, maybe. Just trying to regain control on this, maybe just slow the momentum, take it away from Fnatic, quite possibly. I'm not too sure. Well, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. But at the end of the day, it does mean that Fnatic retain where they stood in the end. They get back to this, and I want to see their T-side. I know it sounds kind of strange, but I hope they go in with a deficit almost in the second half so you can see more play from on the T side, see what they have to bring, because I think everyone was, when this came back, they're like, oh, NIP get a really nice map back in their pool. Fnatic as well had such strength on here. We all just want to see, like, okay, well, how long does it take for them to put that work back into it, get back to that form where they've got some new ideas coming up?
I mean, a great example of that is Nuke for NIP. If you want to talk about a map of theirs coming back into the pool, but it's not a map that we've seen them be prominent on. In fact, none of them really have been great for that particular Swedish lineup in recent times. So.
That's right.
Different map, obviously a different degree of change, I guess, has been brought between, Nuke and, of course, Inferno. But for Fnatic as well, again, for them, a lot of the time, they're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees and not too caught up, I guess, in the intricacies of laying down executes here. Sometimes they just win rounds they shouldn't. That's just the fact of the matter, and that's just Fnatic's way.
Yeah, and JW back on the Mag 7, going straight where he was before. I wonder if Alex and Maniac are aware of it again. Let's see how the duel goes down this time.
No, he's shoulder peeking it slightly now as well. He's almost ready for it.
Yeah, and this time you can see them looking for another response. Alex is there with him, so you're not going to see that kind of play coming back out from Flusher or anyone else in those sort of apartments trying to be a bit of a nuisance. Dennis, though, is still going to see that no one's actually pushed across or pushed up, so aware that they're not committing yet, so don't over-rotate, don't overplay it, give a bit of time here. Crim's going to push up the smoke on Banana, so he's got an early information piece, and now Dennis, timing not on your side. You look to the right, you look to the left, and there comes the hit. Simple as that, and now the boost. This is an interesting one, right above the smoke is Olofmeister spraying him wildly, and you get a little bit of support as well through from Flusher, but still, the bomb site is all in the hands of LDLC.
Yeah, really nice smoke there thrown, just to block Library off, and, well, Olofmeister gets a taste of his own medicine. Alex finds him through the smoke, and still Flusher, his vision is obscured. Crim's trying to rotate over through mid here, but still has to be careful. There's 4 LDLC players on the map.
And they don't have kits, it's save time. Crims, yeah, straight away, just like, nope, no. Not gonna be able to do much in this one, get away. It's very hard to play retake on this site from those positions. If you had maybe someone closer up mid, maybe someone still by Arch, if you somehow stayed alive a little bit further. But Flusher can't even play out of Library at this point. If he steps out, you can already see the shots coming through. It's like, well, I guess I'm here now. Gonna play out a little bit, gonna make it a bit costly. No money's completely secure either. LDLC are gonna cement this slightly better just purely because they've got the bomb down, but they're certainly not in, not completely flush.
The last 6 rounds have been back and forth, so neither team has solidified. I mean, you can see that evidenced by the presence of the the UMP on Maniac there. But even still, money's still not great for LDLC, but enough to build up here. I mean, we're approaching the half in a few rounds' time, and LDLC look to be commanding. Fnatic now have to go for the budget weaponry here. WMP, although it's hard to consider budget these days. 5-7 for JW, who has had a very tough map so far.
And let's put it this way, have we actually seen an AWP for JW yet? I don't think we have, because the money has been, up and down, up and down. He hasn't been really able to recover one either, because Tuanu hasn't constantly gone to it, and he hasn't the money for it either. So
yeah, 1 kill. No mag 7 cash either, except that 1 kill.
Yeah, so the problem is that you haven't seen the double AWP that they can bring out here for Fnatic. We haven't seen that at all because they can't afford it. We haven't seen a lot of what they can bring purely because their money's just been in such dire straits, but they're not exactly slouches in these sort of rounds. We saw the last one going their way when they did get the mag 7s and these sort of buys. So don't write them out just yet, but they're going to have to play a little bit deeper, a little bit more respectful, a little bit harder to find here for LDLC, as Mr. just kind of toys with the idea. He does at least have that early control, but now the smokes, that's what we talk about with banana changes these days, or at least the B site. It's harder to smoke it all off, and you're going to see it there. Mr. with a lovely little hop up and down on towards the sandbags, leaves Crims very much alone now, as Alex starts to kind of tighten the noose as well over towards A.
Misty threw a really nice smoke there at the B site, potentially allowing him to get through CT if he wanted to push it, and it forced Crims off the B site itself. So Flusher still, though, angling himself back towards A, getting an early read on maybe that Misty was the only player, which is correct, really pressuring B, as he has been in a lot of these rounds as well, being used as that pivot point. So this will be that 1v1, but over towards the site, Maniac wants to challenge. JW finding very little purchase with the 5-7. Down to 28.
Yeah, this is a problem. Dennis turns the flash, nice flash comes in, but it doesn't actually go deep enough.
That nade.
And a couple, I think we're seeing anti-flash anyway, but the rotate's coming in, but it's late. Crim's the only one with an M4 now left standing, or the only one left standing, should I say. As well, you've got a 1v4. Good luck.
And by and large, LDLC have a good idea of where Crims is going to be. Mistu probably heard him leave the B site, even if he didn't quite see him. Comfortable round for LDLC. 1 gun lost. Good money. Fnatic, it's quite the opposite.
Maniac's on 6k and he's sticking on the UMP. Why not? It's worked well for him going in towards apps. He's having a really good game, actually. I've really enjoyed what he's been doing as well. He's been, winning against GW, that's good. But then he pressures towards Pit as well. He's been playing out of that quite nicely. And he's been making a real nuisance of trying to hold down that A site, especially from that angle. And JW's back on to a bad buy. These guys are down to CZ's pistols. So if anything, if you're LDLC, you've got to be thinking, we know they're going to be back, a bit light on cash. Careful of apps. You know they like to push up in this. You know they'll like to go for plays. They'll be aggressive on these rounds to try and catch you out. This time they seem well aware of it. You can see the peak together, not allowing too many issues to come awry of it. And Crim's having to back away now.
And there's only going to be one wave of stalling mechanics, I guess, available to Fnatic here. With the exception of that Molotov earlier on, Crim's let that smoke go. That's the only one that's going to be at B. So a little bit of patience for LDLC, knowing that Fnatic aren't able to get that full, utility belt. May work in their favor. I mean, Flush is not coming with a smoke either. Boost up into the flower pots. Stop to smell the roses, but eventually it's going to be on for young and old.
Glad you went for roses then, not pansies. A bit weird. Well, so Dennis and JW might have a lot of people to deal with not much in their hands. So Dennis gonna just sit and watch, and JW got called out by timing. Bit of a shame for him, because now they're gonna check this angle. You can fall back and sit on those boxes quite comfortably normally, but actually, look at this. Look at LDLC. They don't care. They will take their time on this map, and Mr. got a good angle on it. He kind of cleared the site almost, a little bit, or at least enough that he felt safe enough to make the call that, guys, they've rotated. We heard them going through Speedway. Get over here. Let's go. Bomb's gonna go down pretty soon, and they're 5 alive. Still a touch of utility to put into place to slow down the retake if needed, or the defuse. I don't think he's even going to get that far at this point. Unless Crims pulls off a bit of magic, and that doesn't look likely.
Much quieter map for him by comparison, as I mentioned earlier on. Well, Dennis is always a chance, but 4 players to deal with, finds the first. Now that should be a trade up to the AK. I need to reload even. How convenient. Alex peaked for him. Pittance of damage really now as it does go head to head, and Alex will eventually find it with the Tech 9. So, okay, 9 to 5. Fnatic there, forced on a bit of a save in that round, and again, the economy is... It's doggy doo-doo, Lauren. It's doggy doo-doo.
I don't think we've seen Fnatic on like the perfect buy at all this game, and that's good for LDLC. It's a dangerous game to play. We're going back and forward, right? But
yeah, because they're forcing up like not only are they forcing up CZs and Tech9s, they're forcing up a lot of utility as well to try and stall out and actually be able to be safe behind those smokes. But this is just a torrid buy.
yeah, it certainly is. Swanu there going to just show towards Banana with a little bit of spam, but it looks like a quick hit towards A, and that's this is the first time we're seeing this, and I don't like them switching up when they've seemed to have a bit of a good hand on the game so far, maybe trying to just force the issue for the final round, but it does mean that maybe Crims gets a little overzealous towards B. We'll see. No, he's held off in the end, and Maniac's going to find Dennis. So keeping opportunities aplenty and showing again how strong he's been playing out of apps so far. Looks for the follow-up towards JW. Good tag. No follow-up to be found yet, but Flusher's gone walkabouts. This could be a further issue, no matter how this goes. Flusher, if he times it right, he's going to hear the steps. Olaf Meister can now rotate. And Flusher, how dare you do this? Look at this man. This is just filthy. One to the right, takes the shot, doesn't turn around. Now he does, but he can't get the shot done. If he'd taken a couple more seconds, maybe he could have found more, but it's hard to ask more of that man in a situation like that.
The issue being that Fnatic hasn't really been able to salvage much weaponry. I guess it may not matter. The CZ from Olaf Meister gives him a glimmer of hope, but it is just that. It may well be snuffed out, and it is. Maniac finds Crims 11-4 at the half here. And LDLC, it's comfort on that T side for them. Now Fnatic will have a shot, a chance to bring it back. We'll have to see how that all transpires after the break. $11 rounds in the bag for LDLC in the first half here on Inferno. A commanding showing. Of course, on that T side, Lauren Fnatic definitely lagging behind the 8 ball, need to reciprocate and better.
Yeah, I wouldn't write Fnatic out. Their T-sides are something to be remembered a hell of a lot of the time, but we'll see what they can do in this. I wouldn't say it's going to be an easy one by any stretch of the imagination. And what is this from LDLC? Why are they still in spawn? All right, they made it out. Okay, I got a little baffled there.
I'm not sure
but we'll see what they can actually pull through on this.
Cheeky decoy down in Banana at this stage, but Existence is not phased. A moment now to wait. Alex just going to drop down. So a bit of a slower start into this round. Teams getting each other's measurement, just trying to get some information. But as it stands, 3 players in Banana, but they're not committed. It's going to be Crimson Flusher eventually just going to pull out of there and head towards the middle.
Just remember about Cash, you do not want to feed Fnatic any kills easily or early or anything that's untradeable. Good work from Maniac to be able to get that one back. That was a very, very quick shot. He's going to try and back away towards CT Arch. He successfully does, so going to hinder Fnatic a touch here. But look at Fnatic backing away. They're not going to commit. Twanu has not moved, neither has Existence, so maybe aware this is how they like to play, get the picks, kind of pull them across the map. Maniac peering down mid is certainly going to confirm that's the case. Twanu now going to swing out, but it's Existence with 2. Great work from him to deny the Fnatic push here, but Flusher and Crims looking for anything they can get.
And Misty's rotated now as well. He started about 8 seconds ago, just before Fnatic pulled the trigger, so to speak. So LDLC are in, well, good numbers at the moment. The bomb being planted, though, that's something for Fnatic, at least to take into the next round if things go south from here as 4 players converge for LDLC. Flusher maybe going to catch Maniac off guard. Here he does. Gets that headshot. Crims now as well. Now the 2v2. Bomb's ticking away. LDLC need to make a move as quickly as possible, but now Crims springs forth. It's almost as if LDLC didn't know he was there. A moment now as well. Takes a breath, peeks out. Both players on LDLC taking damage here. They're being cut down 1 by 1.
How do you lose a 4v2 retake? Twanu trying to keep hold of this, but time is ticking, and Crims is just so good at these situations. He's going to buy time, and he gets them the round. That is frustrating as hell if you're LDLC. You do not want to be losing those. But for Fnatic, it's a breath of fresh air. They're back in the game.
This is something that puts you on potentially 14 rounds to 5. And look at this. I mean, Existence, you got to be kicking yourself after that one. They just walk into those shots there. Beautiful from him. And it makes it even worse that it wasn't quite enough. Fnatic, again, it was guts and glory. 2v4 was so well orchestrated.
What is JW up to on that shotgun? We've seen it on Cobble, on the T side, and he's doing... I like this.
The J-Dub.
Yeah, the Kraken is back. I'm happy to see it. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen this out. And Alex actually is not in a bad spot to wait for that. But that's a really nice flash. It actually clears out down towards Boiler, so it allows J-Do to play up a little bit further. So LDLC just going to be playing close, trying to catch him out with these 5.7s. It's going to be kind of tough. Fnatic just still have the mag 7s, and actually have 2 rifles as well. That's the big part here. Not going for that UMP purchase we saw before from LDLC, but really going in on this one. And the bomb's going to make its way up. Dennis going to lead the way in with that rifle. Now JW going to show presence through apps. But there's still 3 players here from LDLC.
Yeah, Alex had to get out of there as well. He was hoping for the early peek towards balcony, but mid was open. He opted not to throw the smoke there as the flashes came through. That might have bought LDLC a few more moments. Only 3 men on this particular site for LDLC right now as Maniac has opted to stay at B. As we know, Fnatic love to dodge and weave amongst the map when they have the advantage.
They're actually backing from this.
Oh, Maniac started rotating too. He lost his nerve.
It's kind of hard to keep it, but you're going to be wondering, why haven't we seen them yet? If you're Maniac, you're like, oh, God. I mean, I guess you got to stack if you're on these sort of rounds as well.
LDLC can't get information where they're standing on the A site now, that they're prepared for a hit.
No, this is a big GG in this round. No kits for the retake either if they could just run in, but maybe just want to save the armor as well, because they're not going to have anything going into the next round either.
No, exactly, Lauren. Keep that armor. Obviously, look, with armor in this kind of round and 5.7, that's a reasonable investment for LDLC. And Fnatic, of course, will just try and make it a little bit harder. The thumb screws are coming out. And JW hoping to leave the way. Not quite your optimal range for that one, son. It doesn't matter for Fnatic. The bomb is ticking away and the round will be done and dusted in just a moment.
Just wanting to keep what they have. Maniac. Not sure he's going to keep it. He could upgrade.
Jenny?
No. All right, well, 3 alive. 5.7's army. As said, you're not going to get any more. The round is what it is, and the timeout comes in.
Yeah, I mean, not a terrible time to pause for LDLC. Again, you're probably kicking yourself still. It doesn't matter how many players say they just play the game and focus on the future. That pistol round would have really hurt them now. So Fnatic make a very small investment in the round, and they keep it all, almost all of it, as it ends. So that's pretty big for them. And of course, they're not worried about hanging onto these guns. So you're pretty much hitting peak value in that regard.
Yeah, the only things they really care about keeping on of are the 2 rifles, and they've done that. Everything else is expendable to a degree. You obviously don't want to lose it. It's not like you running going, oh, I hope we get rid of this Mac 10. But you've got the 2 rifles in the hands of Crims and Dennis, and they're the kind of main points in this that you want to keep beside them. Beyond that, though, I'm glad to see this. I'm hoping LDLC just kind of take their time on it. Don't get too overzealous, having to close out the score as quickly as possible or the game as fast as possible, considering they have a nice lead in this. Fnatic, though, I'm excited to see how they bring this, because a lot of teams so far has said they do still like those CT arch reps, they still like those picks to try and play them off. But Inferno, you can play quite passively. You can play quite a deep style that forces the T side, to really commit towards sides and make it harder work. So that's what I'm looking forward to in this, is they actually go for that.
I really enjoyed Fnatic's T side against Astralis in the group stages at Katowice. I think I said it earlier on in the broadcast, but their T side, they got 8 rounds on that one. And what was more interesting as well is the way that they actually managed to pressure Astralis, not only in terms of kills, but also in time. There were a lot of rounds where Astralis had players up and had to let the bomb detonate. Fnatic played the time very well and were able to plant in those rounds, very importantly. So their executes, or at least their contact play on towards sites, was actually very, very good against a very well-drilled and well-orchestrated Danish squad. So this will definitely be where they get those rounds back. There's no doubt about it. If they can give them a chance to dictate the pace of the game, that's what Fnatic really want.
And here we go. This looks like the wrap that we see them doing towards CT Arch. Molly's out, getting up close, and you've got the mags, not mags, I'm so used to saying that rather than the sword-off.
Sword-off shot.
In the hands of, it's actually been passed over to Flusher this time, so JW on the Mac 10, maybe trying to farm up more money. Twanu only has the USB, but Mister's the one with one of the 5.7s, and he's found a bit of play with it. But so far, Existence could be quite an interesting factor in this, because he's going to get himself towards Speedway as well, and I'm not sure if they're going to check it as quickly they do. Crim's very aware here. And now Mister's pulled himself off the site and going to try and find something to do around the back. And if you're a minute, you're like, great, I've recovered a sword off.
Jackpot! And even Crims is going to die him from even that. Sweet nothings. And no weapon there for him either. That being said, of course, LDLC able to get a bit more money coming back into the next round, but they're going to have to concede these to Fnatic. And again, that is all their fault. It was a 2v4 situation in that pistol round. I don't want to keep harkening back to it.
Well, you kind of have to.
That's some commanding stuff, Lauren.
Yeah, it's so frustrating as well if you're a team that you lose. Actually, you're like, okay, we're LDLC, we're up against Fnatic on Inferno, and we have a chance to get a really good start to our second half to kind of, I guess, cement the not necessarily the game, but get yourself in a really good kind of shot for it. And to lose a 2v4, to let themselves back into Fnatic having quite the clean couple of rounds off the back of it is very frustrating, and it's given them decent money to depend on after this round. It will sit well with them, so we might see an early, maybe an AWP with JW. I'm not sure if he'll actually go for it. I don't know on the T side how
just thinking about that.
Comfortable he is in comparison. I know a lot of teams don't often opt for it, but he's sitting on 7k, so if there's a round to go for it, it's now. Or they can be more of a nuisance and he can stick on the Mac 10.
Maybe even on a psychological standpoint, whether that's an issue or not for JW, it's not been a high kill game for him. So he could go for the AWP and hope that maybe is going to be what he needs, but no.
And look at Flusher. He's chosen. He had more than enough money for this. I think he's still got 3k in the bank. Yeah, almost 4k. He's chosen the UMP.
What does that say to you?
Well, you know that LDLC's money's quite fragile. If you win this one, that's going to be nice. And it gives you that mobility as well. The UMP is actually quite good at you kind of being running around and just doing it. And Flusher's always actually up to this, a bit ahead of the curve, actually. He used to always play on that CT side in drop on Cobble. He'd happily hold it with that. So it's not too surprising to see him opting for it, but on the T side still, I want to see how he kind of puts it into practice here.
3-man stack at B, which is maybe a little bit out of the ordinary, but not hugely so. The fact is that Fnatic haven't really been that, driven to actually hit that B side over the last few rounds. They've been more working around A and getting kills through there. But JW should be raising the alarm a little bit there with some shots out from balcony.
But the next worry is that you're not quick on rotates towards B. So if Olafmeister starts pressuring, Alex and Twanu would have a long way to go. But actually, I'm not sure how they're reading this yet. And there, Olafmeister going down is a great pickup for them. But look at the rest of Fnatic. They haven't committed anywhere. They haven't really pulled the trigger on this hit. JW's shown a lot of presence, but not much. He just made noise. But look at it. Existence is rotating off B. They've overdone this. They've overcooked it. And now it's just Maniac. He's got to hold off against possibly 4 players pretty soon. Existence now realizes, like, actually, no one's come through the smoke. No one's making any more noise. Maniac is playing very up close here.
Existence coming back.
Yeah, thank God for that. If Fnatic just ran through playing a very close contact play, that could be really, really worrying. And Existence just going to spray in and hope to buy time, because you can see the smokes coming in, see the flash coming in. Maniac sitting and flash waiting for this. There's no gap in that smoke, but one player just below him gets spotted. But they still pick up the 2 kills. They get the bomb site under wraps. Twanu is late here. He can't help out. And with 10 seconds left, the bomb's going to go down. And good after plant position for Fnatic. They are in a good spot now. LDLC have to play this one back in with only a flash and no kits.
2 players to work with. Previously, obviously 3. But again, LDLC well and truly out of position here. Fnatic have some flashes to play the after plant with, but Dennis is allowing people to walk into his crosshair and just eating him right up. Mistu backing away. $200 in his pocket outside of the weapon that he has. And that's bad news for LDLC, and that does mean further rounds conceded, even with that round loss bonus being present. Generally not going to be ideal. Mistu not going to try and bite off more than he can chew there. Again, backing away. And that one smoke on towards that B site completely split Maniac and Existence apart. And Fnatic didn't even know that. Maniac had nowhere to go. He had a head poking his way, had to give his position away very early into the round. LDLC, possibly because Existence was just rotating back towards B, didn't have the chance to, you know, take a better position at the back of the site. I know Coffins is not nearly as good as Spools was in terms of its permeability to gunfire, but still, they were both right at the opening of that choke and were taken down very quickly.
Oh, this buy is so bad. Mister's like, where's the pistol? I think someone dropped him earlier, just trying to find.
All right, boys.
God, guys, please.
Sort it out.
Please.
It exists with the M4. 3 players again towards B for LDLC. But again, always seems to be one rotating a little bit earlier. Really hard for LDLC to read Fnatic at the moment. That's the main point. Fnatic, that's on purpose.
Oh, and this is a huge problem. there's just a massive gap now that Fnatic can walk through. Mister's going to rotate, but they're down to less than ideal amounts. Down to 3. Good work from Alex to find JW, but you're still going to struggle to try and contain this hit from Fnatic. They're being quite cautious with it. Mister's probably going to get a challenge in library, but you're going to put your money on the 4 players of Fnatic who have decent money, decent weapons, and everything they need to take this.
And with LDLC playing defensive positions, Maniac has no idea that there's no one to be. Mistu still doesn't know that. He didn't see the player go into Arch.
They didn't see the 3 players going to Arch. He could play a Maniac, though. He's the one with the rifle, and actually he pulls himself over in good time, but now he's been overwhelmed. And if you're Fnatic, if you pick up the pace, the B side is all yours. You may not know that completely and utterly, but you might start reading as who's left alive. And you just found out that Mister was in library. You're like, oh, nice. This is perfect. All right, off we go. And the last 2 players are completely locked out. Alex at least does have the rifle, but you're all alone now.
Dennis here, not only is he watching the rotate, he's also defending the dropped AK. Misty would have loved to trade up from the 5-7. And Alex again on his own. We're finding a lot of these late round scenarios where LDC are forced to save. A similar story to Fnatic in the first half. The economic pressure prevents you from taking gunfights, even at a slight disadvantage in some cases, especially in Afterplant. Even if you have a 3v4, you know, like a one-man disadvantage, sometimes it's like, well, boys, you know, if we mess this up, we lose more rounds. You know, your margin of error is a lot slimmer when the enemy is keeping you under their thumb economically.
And LDLC need that money. You need everything to slow down Fnatic, or at least just be comfortable where you're sitting. It feels like they're trying to over-rotate every single time, being called out and pulled left, right, and center. Fnatic showing, you know, what you can do on a T side like this, but does Twanu ever get an AWP? He might be dropped out by Mistu here, and I think he is, yeah. So they're going to just swap on over on that one, so they at least get what they need. We finally get to see maybe if he can make a bit of a change here. I actually don't mind the 3-man stack towards B if Twanu and one other just hold down A. But they're still going to put 3 over here, so Existence and Maniac be the ones locking down B. Maybe this is the buy they need to finally show what they can do on the CT side, because so far it's been very stagnant, and Fnatic have brought absolute and utter destruction to them.
And JW still no inclination to go for an AWP here. Fnatic want to play a bit of CQC Counter-Strike. Maybe not that close, but close enough. JW pushes into Twanu. You cannot lose these, not in a round like this. He had the angle with the AWP. He was outsmarted and outgunned by JW. And now Alex is going to be corralled into the corner. There's no way he's getting out of ball. And Misty gets a swing down with the AWP. It's 1 kill, but it's not nearly enough.
And the pacing from Fnatic in this round, they just kicked it up a gear. They knew that finally LDLC would have that full buy, and they are just large and in charge, fully in control in this game, and just won the fights. JW, I guess, gets away with his life and taking down Twanu, which is quite, I wouldn't say lucky, but the fact is that JW basically got legged and then took out the AWP. He's just kind of stuck there like, well, you know,
it was less of a miss and more of that leg, of course.
Yeah, but it's a shame, because that could have changed something. It could have maybe seen a little bit of a slower pace that could have maybe played in the hands of LDLC. But what this now means is that JW's got an AWP. We have the first real big gun round buy-up going Fnatic's way with 4 alive. And Existence and Maniac, they know they play B, so Olafmeister is hunting this one out as best he can. They're sat on the other side of the smoke. Pop flash comes in, turn comes out. Not exactly subtle, but yeah, there's a lot of problems. You've got Flasher on one side, Olafmeister on the other. You're not really liking this, but you're going to try and hold on to these weapons, and they do. That's good for them.
Respectable setup. Alex has
dropped them, yeah.
Yeah, Alex has a decent amount of money after that as well. 6 rounds in a row this half. Fnatic have won. LDLC haven't gotten any of them. They had a good start, but they fluffed that round up, and the rest, as you can see, is scribed into the long history books of CS now. 11-10 Fnatic are within spitting distance of LDLC's score. And if things don't really come together now for the European mix, well, it's going to be even more than even Stevens in a few.
Yeah, so many bomb plants for Fnatic as well. It's all just been going their way. Existence looking for early info, but he gets a lot of damage. You look at Maniac, is even worse off. Everything they tried just seems to be met by sheer and utter force. But now Fnatic slowly encroaching towards B with 4 players. We haven't really seen this yet, and Twanu's sitting over towards the library, so he's got still quite a way to run if he wants to support them in this. And Mr. and Alex have no information, sitting very passive here. One of the biggest problems with dealing with Fnatic, if they're looking for those picks, is you sit back and you get absolutely decked like this, low on HP, and you're not going to play back into this, guys. You know that. You're saving already. As soon as this happens, Fnatic seal it with 5 alive. Again, another bomb plant. It's hard to watch because Fnatic are looking so good.
And isn't that same stat that I pulled up earlier on? 60% of Fnatic's T-side rounds they're winning against Astralis were from bomb detonations. And more often than not always, but more often than not, this is because you're forcing your opponents to save. Yeah, sure, sometimes the CTs run out of time, but it's maybe 1 in 10 or even less than that. This back and forth, this economic pressure that Fnatic are applying, these clean rounds that they are winning, means the LDLC can't get a look in towards the bomb and not even bother for a retake, where they could maybe dice with death and get a lucky round, but they're not even going to go for that.
This is good for them to be able to hold on to their guns so far. Really well done, but still, it's all good and well holding on to your guns, but you still need to get that first round on the board in this half, boys. It's been a clean run for Fnatic so far, and if I'm honest, they haven't even looked at that pressured yet. Yeah, and the money is solid. Solid as a rock. Pause time comes in. Now, LDLC, you better have something in mind, because they've just been outdone on this.
And JW now with the AWP, it's been dropped for him. So finally deciding to go for that one. So that's the real question. Do we see a bit of a change in cadence for Fnatic in these first few rounds? Are they now maybe relying a little bit more over JW's first pick? Or does he just go into apps and do something ridiculous at close range? As we never really know with that man. And he had a rough start to the game, to be fair. Like, kills without the AWP, not great. We obviously had that first half where I think he had maybe a pistol kill and that Mag 7 kill, right? But now he's obviously been able to improve on that pretty drastically. Maniac's had a good game.
Yep.
22 and 10 right now for him. But that's not the issue. I mean, him staying alive, I mean, good on him. He's done that. He's only had 10 deaths now. It's in 22 rounds, 10 deaths. It's not much.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, this is the points where you've got existence in your team. You've got one of the, a really good cerebral player who can hopefully come up with a good answer here as to how to approach this, how to kind of stem the bleeding, because it's not just bleeding anymore, it's kind of gushing at this point. So you gotta hope for more.
Or something to plug the dam at the very least, as the fables go. But I mean, look, yeah, I mean, a decent round for LDLC here. We're in a tactical pause right now. There is guns on the entirety of LDLC. So that's something, a chance to discuss here. How do we read Fnatic early on? I mean, are they going to pull us between sites? Are we going to play passive and actually give up any chance of getting information? Do we get in their face like we did in the prior map?
I actually I prefer this. You have 2 players on A, 3 on B, but you do the early nades down Banana, you get the early control. Hopefully, you have to battle over it, definitely. That's good, though. Deep mollies coming out, and you leave the 2 players, including the AWP towards A. This is something that I get, not necessarily just Astralis do, but a lot of teams do. They'll leave him here to be the linchpin by CT Arch, and he needs to deliver here. If they go for the hit, I think they're going to, he needs to be on point. Otherwise, there's very few answers you're going to find. Puts down the smoke to just slow down one of the approaches, while you can see already Dennis and JW coming through. Mistu needs to keep his eyes towards that, because no one's really watching it just yet actively. Twanu's backed away, so here comes Fnatic. They're going to start pressuring, start pushing, start flying out from the app, so keep your eyes on this. Dennis is there, Alex is ready. Good start, but they need to follow it up.
Flusher responds, though. He springs forth from the balcony and actually gets that first kill. Twino at least managed to respond on towards him, but the bomb is loose here. A little bit awkward position with that smoke thrown just off towards the side of Mistu. That will allow the Crims to recover that one here. But Fnatic are working with 3 players, and they're pretty much committed to this site. There's no way out.
Finally, LDLC are in the right place at the right time, though. This is the first time they've had the right number of players on the right side with a flank coming in from Maniac, and it's working out so well. Twanu funding JW with the nade, and now it's Olaf Meister in the 1v4. He does get the first. No one to be found behind him. Maniac's going on the long flank through apps. He's only got 30 seconds. If he pegs it towards B, I'm pretty sure he can make it, but it's not going to be a likely chance, and there it is. Maniac will remove the threat. Finally, LDLC seem to break the trend. But, this is the first round they've got in this half, so... Yeah.
But there's been a big contrast between the way they played at the prior rounds here. If you want to be aggressive on the CT side, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to run at them and shoot.
Yep.
LDLC 2 deep smokes to Banana. They had it canvassed off. So, Mistu, who was the early rotate, or that third player at B, had peace of mind to know, I can rotate away. There's another smoke coming down on Banana, so we have a good amount of warning. So there's already those 3 players over that site for LDLC. They had good numbers, and they kept their cool.
So this time, early nades, but no deep mollies yet. There you go. Mollies towards the top, but not much further down. LDLC showing some presence, not going to let this go for free. Olofmeister's looking for the fun and nice double nade towards the wood stack. Or I guess it's almost if you had the 2 nades, 2 mollies down towards Banana, you can kind of fall back in towards the wood stack and then you nade it. That's the idea, but he wasn't there. He'd been able to find kind of respite on towards the right side. So this time Fnatic having to respect this. This is a different LDLC. They've got utility. All right, we've got to kind of play a different game. But you still feel if they get the right pick, if they overpull the rotate. Look at this again. Existence coming over towards A. Now, if Fnatic get a feel, which they seem to just have, they have that nice feeling of how to approach it, this could be problematic. But this is a nice little flash animation from Mr.
Yeah, I mean, he's largely obscured, I think, by the pillar, and it's easy to get that flash out. Fnatic don't have to commit to A just yet. That's the reality of it. Olofmeister still is fairly well established in Banana. They could make the change, but that first pick should be enough for Fnatic to be going on now. Dennis and Crim's a little bit low, but it's on.
Existence seems so hesitant to put himself to either side, but Twanu is holding on to this, and that is a perfect pickup. But now the pinch comes towards B, and Existence right in the middle of it. He's got 2 players coming from towards CT Arch,
so much control.
and then Maniacs coming, having to just hold that banana push right now, because Olofmeister and Flusher are going to be there. 24 seconds, though. Existence, if he can put the foot down towards this, but no, he's not quick enough. JW is there, and this is a problem. Maniac has to play the time, though. 17 seconds here, and the bomb is being cautious and careful.
Yeah. Fnatic put themselves in a risky situation by doing so now. The double spray down comes through. The bomb loose 10 seconds in the round. It has to be JW. It has to be now. He must come forward. He does get the kill. He has time, but it's scant seconds remaining. He'll be able to get the bomb down safely. And Dennis had already made his way through CT, so they have cover. But Twanu has an AWP. So does Dennis.
That could have been Maniacs, but it's not. It's back on for Fnatic here. JW holding a nice little angle. If they try and come through construction, it's going to be a hard play, and you don't check that angle first, and there you go. JW gets away with murder, and Twanu left to watch. You feel as though they finally had a bit of a feeling for it, and Fnatic again just put the foot down, get this all back to 12-12.
And whether it's because at a 1v2 retake with an AWP doesn't feel good for Twanu, because economy's not there. It doesn't matter either way. Another round in which we're going to have a detonation of the bomb and Twanu has to back away. Fnatic canvassed off quad really quite nicely and they made their way through. Quite often, we're seeing the LDLCs just playing with Twanu or 1 player in library, right? So Fnatic stack that, they get the trade or they get the kill. Either one, they wrap so comfortably through CT to B. I'd say about 20 seconds before the bomb got planted, the amount of map control Fnatic had was disgusting. And Maniac did a great job, but it just wasn't enough.
No, and the money's broken. That's another issue with the fact it's just LDLC feel like they finally maybe got the right feeling, got the rotated in the right place at the right time, but it just didn't happen into the round. It never stabilized really. Twanu going to be looking to make the difference. He has to be a very, very integral piece for the LDLC puzzle, but it's looking unlikely into this. Now he's still got JW on the AWP. He's had a quiet game, actually. I think you highlighted it earlier. It's not been the headliner that he can be, but it doesn't need to be, because the rest of Fnatic are doing just fine. Pressure throughout, cutting off rotates, making it very tricky for LDLC to ever be in the right place to make it count. Alex, however, going to find JW. That's a nice little touch. And Alex finding Flusher, even better. He's going to be fighting for more Crims. Finally stops to put to it. Stops
to put to it?
That'll do.
Do that all the time.
Honestly, why not?
Okay,
I'm tired, Mitch. Katowice wasn't that long ago.
Oh, no, I know. I know. So let's take stock of things. Bomb down in mid. It's a 3v3. Crims was able to salvage what could have been disastrous. And Alex, credit to him. A little bit of aggression yielded results. And now Fnatic are going to be a little bit poor on time by the time they actually get to one of these sites.
Existence is going to the other place again. It's just... Oh, God.
Oh, he's playing himself. But this is interesting. Olofmeister doesn't aggress on towards B after getting Maniac, so Existence won't have an ideal setup at that site, but this is important. Twanu, Dennis, he just didn't know he was there. He goes down. Dennis more than happy to trade up, and now Crim's going to join Dennis over on the A side. Existence is forced to rotate in towards Library. Dennis has a double flash. Okay, well, not anymore. They're on the ground. Time close. Now the 1v1, essentially, at least for the moment. Olofmeister and Crim's both low. Crim's is going to back away and wait for the teammate.
Yeah, this is actually interesting. No stopping utility now. If he can just find them, it's fine, but he has no kit, so... Oh, if only he knew how low they were. 5 HP, 17 HP. Finding one was good, but nothing, it seems, going to be given to him at this point. Has to fight tooth and nail for any pixel to peek him let alone to find the round.
This is not going to happen. Fnatic are far too canny to allow someone like Existence to get away with that one. Doesn't matter who it is. In fact, they had two players, they had two different angles, and the pressure was on Existence to try and get a defuse. And like you said, without a kit, a very tough round. You can see that Fnatic are more than happy to leave their bomb site selection till late in the round and make sure they have as much as information as they possibly can have to make an informed decision and swing the odds in their favor.
Yeah, it's a dangerous playstyle, but you can't dispute it when it's working this nicely.
Yeah,
now,
thin margins.
Yeah, that's the one. Flusher going to be going on to the Mac 10. All right, let's see what you got, Flusher. I doubted you with UMPs before and had to eat my words, so straight in. Now in a problem. A fiery problem.
The floor is lava.
Yeah, he does make it out though, so loses HP for it, but just kind of shows presence, gets that kind of mid control already. Smoke's still up though, and there are still 3 players pretty much close by, or at least 2 ready to kind of face into this. So Smoke goes in, and he gets nothing done. Perfect start for LDLC, that is. But the problem is, it's never been the first kill. Even if they get the first kill, they always seem to just get out-thought or overthink it, should I say. But at this point, Existence and Maniac in the right place still.
And if they don't win this round, it could be over. I mean, they reset the economy. They reset the round loss bonus 2 rounds prior. They will have some. But some of these players are on nothing, literally nothing. Maniac 0. So you know they're putting a lot of eggs in this basket now. Fnatic are just waiting to spring forward. This time, a decent read or a decent feel for LDLC, able to get 3 players over towards his site. Helps to have 5 on the map, of course. Fnatic have utility to execute something here.
This is really good. Mr. holding the angle doesn't allow that kind of contact play it seemed that they wanted to have, or at least a quieter contact play. The game's given up, but 2 players completely blinded over by Nubox. Maniac and Existence having to play out of this. They surely won't expect Maniac to be here as well, but Krim's going to find Mistu. Now it's just down to Maniac. Now play it smart, play it cool, play it collected. They're still careful. They know he's been playing the side. He does take his time to strike. The bomb goes down. Nice follow towards Dennis. The third not going to be so easy to find, but it's just JW left alive. And well played, and then did not expect that additional player to be waiting the same spot as the other over by Nubox.
Bit of a Joan of Arc moment almost there for Maniac with all the Molotovs thrown in towards that part of the map, but the Hail Mary pays off. LDLC get that round. They keep themselves afloat. Economically, it's still not good, but it's enough. That's what's important. Fnatic were coasting a little bit more comfortably here, and JW's probably wondering if it's an AWP he wants this round, but no, an AK and an UMP for Flusher. Crims is skint on utility. Fnatic want to keep pressuring. Surely they've got to be confident here, although it may be a little bit frustrated from that last round. Picks were hard to come by.
Yeah. This time, though, we have seen when LDLC do have enough to buy all the Molotovs that they want and, you know, nades and such to be able to control Banana, they generally do keep control of this, make it a little bit harder for Fnatic to make those hits. So Fnatic can be clearing out the apps. Twanu not able to see the first cross, so I think it was Crim's coming out bedroom, but this time won't get the lake. He gets the shot, and it counts. JW falls. But no response yet from Fnatic. Still where they are. Still waiting for another opportunity to be given. And maybe a frag back here too.
In the last round, Fnatic did suffer the first casualty and really turtled up, played slow and grouped as 4 to try and hit B. So definitely, again, true to form, this is a pause for thought for Fnatic. Olofmeister pushed relatively deep here towards B. Hoping to even just hear something. Hear that early rotate. Hear Existence again deciding he might be better used elsewhere.
Now, one thing for LDLC is they don't have any kit, so if Fnatic do play this like I think they're going to, this could be a little bit tricky, but you're depending on Maniac and Existence. Existence, I think, is on the boost, so there is that. Fnatic do have 2 smokes. I can imagine Crims might be put down towards this pretty soon if they want to go for it. Olofmeister going to get as close as possible. And he hasn't been spotted by Maniac, so that could be an issue here. We'll see. Here we go. First swing out comes in, 3 players forward. Existence gets the tag. Good damage, but damage is not enough here, Mitch.
No, I mean, Dennis getting 2 kills now. Twanu, desperate rotate here through CT. Fnatic had the smokes. LDLC didn't have them. They couldn't stave off the aggression or the push from Fnatic whatsoever. And the bomb's down. 2 players remain for LDLC. Slightly more cash than the previous round, but still not enough to really put together a commanding buy, and they will have to save again.
Well, we know what it's like when you get those win-loss, especially on the CT sides. LDLC know their money's going to be on the ropes, so they've got to back away with these. They have to keep hold of them. Fnatic, you know, their money's not going to be perfect either, but they can definitely chase these ones out. Worth it for the long run to take away basically any form of utility the opposition can get, especially the weapons. You might be able to get a couple of UMPs out, possibly. And Alex going to pop up on towards the bike, have a little bit of look. Mistu holding the angle as well on the other side. And just try and stay alive. It sounds simple. So far, Fnatic not gonna make it any further. Here we go. So, Fnatic had enough to buy whatever they need to. Look at what the CT side has: 3K, 1.6, and it was about 2K on existence. So, they're gonna put together whatever they can, but I can assure you it will not be enough in the long run.
And while I'm on my crappy little train talking about bomb detonations
GG.
and how they're so important, 8 from 10 of Fnatic's round wins have been from that.
Very nice.
I mean, obviously the vast majority of them because LDLC had to save. Nasty. And that's where economy really comes into the game of Counter-Strike. And sometimes in some games, it's actually hard to perceive that being a big factor. But here it is.
Now, last time we saw Fnatic looking this up close towards mid, it was a quick play towards Arch. You might see the double swing out from Dennis and Crims, and we are. Now, actually, the one benefit being Olofmeister goes down. It's the first time we've really seen that pick coming in for LDLC, but Twanu playing right on a nice edge here. Flush going to find Alex, which is a problem now. Twanu could be overwhelmed here. As you can see, Fnatic just pressuring down towards Quad, though. They can turn their attention towards Diggity because Misto goes down, and now Fnatic have it all. It's time again to play retake for LDLC, and it's not looking fun when Crims has the angle.
And this is crushing for LDLC, and this has really got to be it. They tried to buy up and support this round, or at least the guns that were saved prior, but that save almost means nothing now. They've done very little with these weapons, Lauren, and now it's going to be Fnatic hunting for the last. It'll be Twanu. A couple missed AWP shots have hurt him dearly. He finds Dennis, but Fnatic, they're rolling it as per usual. They're going to have the Compton beanies back on in a moment, and LDLC do not have enough money to put together a proper arsenal to keep themselves alive.
They do not. Fnatic, to be fair, I am glad that we saw LDLC picking up such a good first half, because I genuinely did want to see Fnatic's T side. I want to see how well it's improved if they've got more depth to it. It still seems quite similar to what we saw before, but it's nice to see a couple of players really coming into their own, seeing a couple of old pieces they used to work with really back out to play. But Maniac taking a beating on Banana, and already Fnatic getting the start they wanted without even knowing it.
Poor Maniac. It's an airstrike, and Swiss never wanted any trouble, Lauren.
Neutral forever.
Absolutely. The white flag was probably up him before the grenades came through, but it didn't matter. Maniac's backed himself up on towards the B side now, though, for the most part. 4th player stack for LDLC at 8. So at least their numbers are right for now. Dennis is creeping forward. Again, any progress can be made without utility being sort of drawn out of Fnatic here is just going to help them so much in an afterplant situation when they want to execute on the site proper. JW still expecting Twanu to try something around the licking tongues of the flame. But Misty's going to go for it. It's time for the hero play, and it gets shut down pretty quickly. Just Maniac and Existence left.
Not everyone can be a hero, Mitch, is what we are learning today. And Existence, good luck, my friend. I would not want to be in your position in a 1v4 now as they start coming towards him, but Existence is up to the challenge. Maybe there are heroes out there, and maybe it's Existence being one of them. He's got the bomb. He's in my favorite spot on this map. Don't you let me down.
1v3 situation now. 2 players will be coming around that corner for Existence. He has to turn that flash. Doesn't really come. He doesn't even see it at all. Dennis is low in the corner. He doesn't know that Olaf is there as well. Now JW is going to pressure him. The headshot comes through. Existence keeping himself alive, but maybe heroes just don't Existence, Lauren. Maybe they don't.
That's awful.
But for LDLC, it's a tough game. It's a tough one. I thought it was fantastic, but neither team really boasting a very impressive CT side here, Lauren. We're talking about this map giving some strange results. Do you think that's consistent with what we've seen so far?
It's consistent with a Fnatic T side, is all I can say. They know how to make it hurt, and they certainly felt the brunt of it on LDLC. It always felt they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Hard to get the right places in this, even though we saw some individually good games from players like Maniac, who certainly showed that he's back into a nice competitive form. Overall, it's got to be upsetting for LDLC, but there you have it. That's Fnatic in a nutshell.
Righto, well, plenty to talk about in this match. Some interesting mind games, especially from the Fnatic corner. Now to take us home, it's going to be Moses and the desk to finish this off.
Thanks, Mitch. Yeah, the first map was clean and decisive. Second map, you see the other side of Fnatic, which is that strangling Fnatic that just refuses to lose, is winning by economy, grinding it down. Very, very cool game out of LDLC. We saw Maniac having a very good game. He's coming back. He's rolling back the years, as Henry would say. But overall, I mean, this is just a lot of resets economically from Fnatic.
Yeah, that was the first half struggle for them, getting constantly reset, where every time they win around, they'd lose straight away. So you saw a couple of saves come out from them. They weren't able to make too much happen with it. But then when we got on the T side, they had some more aggressive plays while Existence was calling gambles. He had some stacks going on, some early reads that he was trying to make happen, and they didn't seem to work out early, but he kept doing them. He persisted, and they paid off, and that's why we had such a tight game.
Off the back of 11-4 half. They lose that. They drop the ball. They only get 2 rounds in the second half.
The weird thing is Fnatic I'm gonna stop this. Fnatic, okay, I can't stop. It's committed.
You're in.
Fnatic is like always weirdly good on that T side, no matter what happens. It seems like they can find openings, and I say map control, but the weird thing is there was a round that you pointed out, Chad. These guys didn't really take any map control, but LDLC didn't do anything to find information against them, so they were just running around. It was really clustered. It was a really poor, like, rotations were random. Executions were not really there. It was more about bleeding out utility just by luck, almost in some cases. People flashing off because they got a little bit uncomfortable on the CT side. There wasn't even any like information. So it was, it was kind of a sloppy game, to be honest.
On that, I think that was like the first gun round, right? And you expect nades, and you didn't expect an attack to happen when you're on the CT side. So you slowly bleed down your utility, expecting the normal timings, and you put off executes or attacks that are coming in. And on that round, exactly like you said, nothing happened. It walked B. They just had a brawl. Were able to take the site and win the round. There was a 3v5, I'm pretty sure. You know, Fnatic was still able to win that.
It did feel like one of those rounds where, oh, I mean, let's talk about this with Underscore right now, because the pistol round, I think that was the big thing, that second half pistol round, where LDLC on the verge of winning it in a 4-on-2, and they somehow lose that retake. They just, I mean, that's Fnatic at their best. That's what they're one of the best teams in the world at, is when they're in those situations. Their positioning and teamwork in those small groups is so good. But to lose a 4-on-2 in that kind of a situation, that's heartbreaking. That's got to be so tough for a new team.
We saw that happen on both sides. I completely agree with what you're saying, but on the first half when Fnatic was CT, Olaf got pushed down, but only got 2 opening kills, and they still managed to lose that round somehow. So maybe it's just a weird day for pistol rounds.
Just a tough day in the office.
Something that I just want people to know at home, if you're playing halls and your teammates are playing Diggity and jungle or long,
Quad.
whatever
jungle,
you guys
just
want
in
to call
case
it.
to clarify.
If you guys are
All
playing
right, Jane Brown, you don't have room to talk here.
Don't go to pit if you're the halls player. You don't need to go to pit straight away. You just jiggle step the end of halls, right? Don't do what Dennis did. Jiggle step the end of halls, and then if you get contact and you want to play safe, then jump into pit because you get that info. What happened was LDLC just power walked the whole way. Next minute he's got 3 guys on top of him. No one likes that.
Yeah, no one likes that at all.
I had that happen at Malmo in an after party thanks to Henry.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, we'll move along. Yeah, Fnatic goes 2-0 on the evening, so we'll check out how that affects the standings overall for the league. And we'll let Matt stew in his good memories. Well, this is the day's
memories.
action. Heroic losing to G2 13-16 on the first map, but then responding in kind on the second, and then LDLC dropping both maps. The second one on Inferno, pretty tightly contested. Fnatic, I mean, I think the verdict there is they still have work to do on Inferno. And so that is what happened today. Now looking at the standings, we can see Mouse Sports still, with the help of Nico, got him out to a good start, then abandons him. We'll see how they can survive from there. But you can see Fnatic jumps up a few spots with that 2-0. LDLC drops. So I mean, this is where we stand at the moment. Still looking to see teams like G2 rise a little bit farther. NIP, any thoughts on these guys?
Hopefully it starts to normalize a little bit more like to what we expect, right? You want to have, no offense to these other teams, but you want to have the best teams in the finals. So hopefully, like the Navis of the world, the G2s can start putting some Ws on the board and get their way up that ladder.
I imagine we're going to see FaZe climb a little bit. Now.
Yeah, imagine like Nico gives, here's your start, Mouse Sports.
Yeah.
Now let me go help out FaZe. Anyone else I need to carry this season?
Well, then we go over to the North American schedule, which is going to be happening tonight over in Burbank, California. We have Winter Fox taking on NRG. That'll start things off, and then later on, Immortals take on Cloud9. So that'll be a cool clash of Immortals coming off a good
Just speaking about North America, I want to congratulate you, Moses. You, like I, have finally escaped them. Welcome to Europe.
Yeah, I have. Before the wall came up, I got out of there. So all good things. And then this is going to be tomorrow. So this is where we're going to see G2 take on North, Virtus Pro versus Astralis. That is the hot match of the week. Obviously, definitely don't want to miss that one at all. That's going to be a battle between two teams. The rivalry there, Virtus Pro getting knocked out, in the group stage. Both teams going to have to come in fully refueled from Katowice.
Both those games are sick, to be fair. North versus G2 is pretty good, too. I think North has obviously got the favorite in that, but G2 need to continue to stride forward.
Definitely, one step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time. You guys seem to be making a joke there that I don't even understand.
I wasn't. I was.
You have a grin on your face.
I just always have a grin on my face. Leave me alone.
We're enjoying life.
What's that?
We're enjoying life. We're just happy, Jason.
Yeah.
We're really happy
We're
with
about to show you the
Wait,
worst restaurant in Cologne.
Really happy with Jason's performance tonight. Matt, what do you give it?
This is going to be good.
Thumbs up. Oh, I can't make that joke. I won't finish that. I was good. It was good. 5 out of 7 is, I think, the obvious.
All right, let's finish that off there. I'm going to go here at the end of that joke, and we're going to go with some food. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you back tomorrow. Obviously, don't miss that one. G2 versus North, Astralis versus Virtus Pro. 2 awesome matchups that we have coming.
Good night.
Get wrecked as the opening night is hosting.